Hi, Average. How you doing? It's just me. There's no everyone. It's just me. Unless you're talking about my personalities. Last I checked, it was just my stream. Shoot, what was I gonna do? I was gonna do something. I can't remember. Do I have to pay for this? I don't care. I'm watching TikTok on my other screen. And there's a chick that well, she created an AI bot that apparently queried over 15 years of 15 years of what is he doing? 15 years of scholarly research and put it into an AI chatbot where you can query all the information for free. That's awesome. Wait, why were you bored? Oh, earlier. Thanks for the follow, Victor. How you doing? You can't wait for Scary Movie 6? When does it come out? Is it a summer movie? I'm assuming it's probably a summer movie. I feel like it's always been kind of like one of those summer movies. I don't remember though, it's been forever. Oh yeah, I thought I got on Warframe for just a minute, but then I got off of it. I didn't want to play it. I didn't feel like playing it. That's okay. Should probably put my guns on. Oh shit. Hang on a sec. Son of a... Oh, you have its in card? Hell yeah, I think I do too. I have so much stuff in that game. Oh yeah, that's right. I got some money. I wonder if I can even use the bank. Is there a special event going on right now? For it? Isn't... I can't remember. Hate, is that part of, whose set is that from? You can get the reinforced. Yes. What do you mean? you talking about? TJ, of course. You can get it, I'm pretty sure, in all versions of this game. In all variations of this game. You have to unlock it in online or if you're in a Redum server, they just have to make sure it's coded properly. Hello? Oh yeah, that's it. It's stalkers. Is Hade the staff? I can't trade that, can I? You can't trade that stuff, can you? I think that's like the one thing you can't trade. There's the parts for that. Yeah, online, I think you have to... I think you can get reinforced from... Bounty Hunter? I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they added the hunting script. I wonder if he did. I'm pretty sure he said he was going to. Ooh. The goat is back. What do you mean? I'm already here. I'm already here, Junie. Hang on. Do you play online, DJ? Yes. It's from Bounty Hunter online. It costs $3.50 and it's exclusive to the Bounty Hunter role. My day's amazing. I just got my concealed carry permit. It's awesome. How's your day? You don't like how I laughed? Good. No. That's what you tell someone when you're feeling unsafe. They ask how your day is, you say, "Great, I just got my concealed carry permit." I'll leave you alone. Works like a charm. Or if somebody asks you, "Hey, do you have a man?" You'd be like, "No, I am one." That works like a charm. No, it's not Red Dead Online. It is not. Hello, horsey. Hi. Boy. I'm back here. I know I do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Congratulations, though. Thank you. So how's everybody's week? Did you have a good week? Can't remember if we can go in this or if they locked it up. Let's see. Oh. We gotta log off. Yeah. Aw, motherfucker. Does he not have the interior set this? Oh, he doesn't. Yep. You had a long week. You're exhausted. Well, it is the weekend. I'm amazing. I had an amazing week. I'm being trained for a new position, and I've only been at my original position for 2 weeks. So they're moving me up. More responsibility. I'm excited. Oh my god. Do you see it? An Appaloosa. I don't think I can keep it. Wait, am I hot mic'd? Oh, I am hot mic'd. Her mouth is moving. Yippee-ki-yay, mother... I gotta log off because it's gonna reset it. I don't know if he added the hunting script. He said he was gonna add it. I gotta wait. I gotta reset. Wait, what? You're the assistant to the regional manager? I'm nobody's assistant. I need an assistant. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to reset for a second. Y'all are gonna see nothing. You know what my favorite thing about getting a follower is? Is getting a follower that just made their account like hours before and then comes to follow me. Who are you and why are you hiding? Why you being a chicken and hiding? It's from the I haven't seen The Office in forever. It's different when it's text. I mean, if it were something I'd just watched, I would have picked up on it, but yeah. That's all right. That's all right. I don't know what game to play. I don't know what to do. I kind of just want to go out and go to a game or something. I could ghost hunt. I had to restart it as the server was resetting. It would have kicked me off anyway. I don't know if he added the whatchamacallit. It was a big old bear butt. If he added the hunting script, I thought he said he was going to, but I can't remember if he said this weekend or just this week. I have that song. Oh, you're going to the pool? Oh, yeah, I missed that. Sounds cool. Get it? You see what I did there? So cool. I don't know what to do. What would be fun? I guess I could just dick around in this. See what kind of crap I can break in the server. And then let my friend know about it. I like breaking things in games. Finding bugs. It's one of my favorite things to do. Did you get the joke? Did you get it? I was telling my coworkers, my colleagues jokes all week. Oh, they were so bad. So bad. I like dad jokes. They make me laugh. You hope your friend does? Why? So she can go 2 days in a row. Hell yeah. Where's that goddamn horse? It's not going to be there, is it? Wonder if I ride away and come back, if it'll pop up. $22,000. What am I gonna do with all my money? Come here, horse. Egyptians claimed to invent the guitar. Oh my god, but they were such liars. That's pretty stupid. I like that one. Pretty good. 43 brain cells. Hey, that's a lot. I got 2 brain cells and they're both fighting for third. That's how it feels, at least. You know, I know there's isn't there like an updated version of Black Flag coming out? Does anybody know when that's coming out? I really want to play that one. Let's see if we can find a big old bear. There should be one. I didn't hear him. I think he would have hollered if he was over here. I just ate dinner and now I want to go to bed. It is literally 7 o'clock and I want to go to bed. That's what I get for having to get up at 5 in the morning. I'm not a night owl anymore. My circadian rhythm is healthy. It's normal. Gross. Oh! Is that a cow or a bear? Is there a moo cow over here? Oh, there's moo cow! Oh, he's so cute. Man, I hope they let us ranch. I think it's so fun. The new Warframe? There's a new Warframe? What's a new Warframe? What's that mean? Thank you for the love on TikTok. Appreciate you. What's the new Warframe? Are they begin a Warframe 2 or you mean like updates? 2 and 1. What does that mean? Tell me. Is it a major update? Oh, that's beautiful. It's a big old bull. Hey, oh, that's right. The server reset. I don't have my pelt anymore. Oh, there's horses over there. There's not supposed to be horses over there. Just randomly spawned, maybe. Oh yeah, they're wild. Alright, let me I don't know how I would check if he had the hunting script. I don't know if it's event-based. I guess he'd probably have, what is that? Let's go see what that is. I guess he'd probably have whatchamafut up. He'd have a trapper if he had it in. Oh, you know who's over there? Madame Nazar. We can go treasure hunting. Love you a good dad joke. Me too. Me too. Absolutely. There was a murder mystery game that I wanted to play, but I can't remember which one. I think I got it for free. Hi, Rez. How you doing? There's a cute little emote. I'm gonna go home. I am. I'm just tired from work. I just ate, too. And I just want to pass the fuck out. But I can't. I gotta stay up. Jade Shadows Constellation is the next update. It comes out on the 17th. Man, maybe I should play Warframe. I still got a lot to do. I gotta level up my Gaia Prime and then... Didn't Steinax get like a new skin or something? You're having an awful day at work? Well, what the f***? Who's do I need to come and kick? I need to beat someone's booty. It's not an elk. Oh, that's a grizzly bear. Oh, big old bear. There's a big old boy. Come here. Is that his head? Is that his head? That's his head. Girl, get your pansy ass back here, Tater. I'm gonna install those. I do. Alright, I'm on my way. Excuse me. What the hell? Excuse me while I go to bed during my grandma bedtime. God damn it. Responsibilities. I gotta be up early tomorrow too. The new Warframe coming in and it's not two separate. Oh, the new Warframe! I thought you meant the whole game. Can you join? Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've just been a ball of joy. Like, I had family in town last week, so I was out late like almost every night. Because they wanted to go out and have dinner and whatever. And so I finally am home at a decent hour and I'm like in bed before 10. It's crazy. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. It was my dad. He hasn't been a consistent figure, but it's nice to see him. You know, he's getting up there. But you know, I'm not always sad that when he's leaving though. Everybody's just stressed. Especially my sister. Jeez Louise. I don't know. I feel like company visiting. Yes, it... Oh! I wasn't here the other day. I think company visiting is great, but if it stresses you out to that extent, it's not worth it. Ooh! And they put this in. Oh my god, it's so cute. I love this little shop. This wasn't here the other day. Come back here, Tater. The Railjack missions? I don't mind them. They're not my favorite, but I still have a lot of them to do. Come on, horse. Come here, horse. Come on. Get your booty cheeks over here. They're putting it in Steel Path. I thought they already had it in Steel Path. I could have sworn they already had Steel Path Railjack missions. $3. New York City. Oh, there's a good horse. I could have sworn they already had them average. Maybe I'm just... I don't know. Am I crazy? Don't answer that. You don't need to answer that. What were we gonna do? Oh yeah, we were gonna go see... Oh, please don't take me into the water. I could have sworn. I didn't see anything new on the map. What the hell is that? Have we visited that? I'm gonna see what that is. We could just give it a little Google, see what it says. Oh, that's right. I forgot I don't have Spotify premium anymore. Just fuck that noise. Is it gonna make me watch a commercial? It's not. Ads on Spotify. Yeah, I don't want to pay for the membership. I don't need it. You didn't mind the ads? I don't mind them either, but when I'm streaming and then ads pop up while I'm listening to music, Oh my god. I gotta move my monitor back. It's so close to my face. I don't want to talk about what just happened. Let's see if I can get in here. Yeah. Oh my god, there's an apple. Sorry, Jack. It's mine. I don't have the bunny. I don't have anything turned on. Let's see. What is this? What the hell is I'm running the opposite direction? What is that? It's just a shop. Let's see if it gives me a commercial. Oh, thank God. Where is it? It's like an invisible shop. It's right here. You didn't. Wallpaper engine's sick. I have it. I love it. Wasn't using it because I was on my old PC, but my new PC can handle it. I forgot I had it. It's so cool though. There's a animated one with an astronaut. And he's like floating in water. It's like pink, fluorescent. It's really pretty. It's my favorite one. Do you have a favorite one yet? Have you just been searching? Because there's a ton of them. That's all. That was nice. It's always nice to get gifts. I kind of want to look at a Warframe and look at Sty next. How much is a DDR? Your hard drive? You should be able to get a cheap hard drive. Hard drives aren't crazy expensive. It's RAM that is. You should be able to get one for fairly cheap. Yeah. It's nice to be able to go into Blackwater without getting shot. I feel like we're gonna get a commercial next song. It's gonna blow our eardrums. Trying to watch it so it doesn't. I didn't know this was D'Angelo for the longest time. Okay, no commercials. Please. Oh. Oh, there's Haagen-Dazs on the side. Commercial? Oh my god, look. Is that Appaloosa? Just see if we can get her. I don't know if I can grab her. See if we can grab her. We might not be able to. Might not have to be. Might have to be a trainer, so I can get her. She's a good girl. You wanna go visit your grandma where she lives? She comes down here, but does she have horses? No. Come on, Satyr. wonder if I can keep her. Him. Those are big balls. That's definitely him. Come on, Tater. You wish? Yeah, it's nice. I got a family that has horses. We have a farm. Man, I need a drink or I'm gonna die. I'm pretty sure if I ride my horse and bring in the Appaloosa, I think it's harder because she's not trained. Drink some water. It's alright, Tater. Don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. Come on, pretty girl. Let's go. I mean, boy. Second time. Oh, don't tell me. I was going to ask you a question. I don't want you to dox your grandma. Does she live close to you? No! What? What the fuck? Well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. And this game is so damn pretty. If you could live inside the world of... Oh my god, there's another one. What is that? If you could live inside the world of your favorite video game, which world would that be? I'd live here, but with vaccinations and modern medical care and modern advances. In healthcare, that's about it. Oh, commercial. Fuck. I'm gonna mute it. Hang on. Let's see if I can get this horsey. Hi, Shell. How you doing? What you up to tonight? Did you play the anniversary event in DVD? Want to see a trick? So when you're tracking something, and you know how that you have that little bar in the bottom right corner. If you use your eagle eye while tracking, here, watch, I'll show you. See if I can do it without scaring this. And it starts to go down. I don't know if it'll work for this horse, but if you use your watch. Oh, it didn't work. Well, if you use your eagle eye, I scared her away. Before it completely depletes, it'll refresh it for you. Hi, Makai. How are you? I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I'm good. I'm debating on what. It's a good horsey. It's a good horsey. It's a good horsey. Oh, shit. I almost just got kicked. I'm good. Well, I guess we gotta run now. Shit. Shit. You know what? Come here, Tater. As soon as I got out of this zone, she disappeared. I don't want her to disappear. Come on, Tater. Let's go get her. Yep, she's gone. I wonder if she's stuck in this zone for some reason. Okay, let's go away and come back and see if there's another one. My day's amazing. I just got my concealed carry. Good day. Yeah. What? You don't believe me? You have yours? Hi, Aylin. Let's go see if we can see what that's big. No. What the fuck? Why would I do that? It's so ghetto. It's not a toy. Well, that's no good. You know what I heard? I think it's in Australia. Anybody who's ever hurt an animal they have like a new law where you can never own an animal again if you're caught abusing animals. It's a felony. Which I think is awesome. There's another place doing that too. Is the commercial over? Oh yeah. Yeah, let me look it up. Oh my god, I gotta show you something I learned average. Were you watching me play oh. Were you watching me play Subnautica the other day? I learned something. Average. Yeah. You weren't there for long. Did I show you how I learned the movement hack I learned? It's not a hack, it's a trick. It's really cool. I'll have to show you. There. Let me take this in and I'll show you. So badass. You know how you get those passive buffs? You have like your oh my god, I gotta stop yawning. Motherfucker. Yeah, I'll show you. So there's one that allows you to dash and dodge attacks. And I chose that one and then I'll just show you. Hang on. Let me go sell this real quick. I should just message him and see if he added it. I don't think it did. He added a few things. My favorite thing about this game is if you're so far away from a NPC horse, their legs look all weird and gangly. It's really funny. Did you go flying out of the water? Yeah, you can slingshot yourself. But you have to use the air pouch to do it. Have you seen it? Did I show you? Look at my popsicle melted. Isn't it awesome? Yeah. I was goofing around and I was like, I wonder. Oh, you can do it over and over again. Here, I'll show you. Here, no, I don't want to do that. Let me load it up. You can literally just move around the whole map that way. And then you don't have to worry, like, if you're in a fight or whatever, or you've got an enemy chasing you, you just could slingshot yourself out of there. I went like 60 meters. My best slingshot. Oh, it was so good. Here, let me get this open. Where's she at? Subnautica. There it is. Get this loaded up. Let's see here. Let's see if it'll show y'all. All right, watch this. I'll get in here real quick. All right, watch this. I gotta go somewhere deep though. I'm gonna go somewhere where it's gonna be deep. So you know, you got your thing, right? So you use the ascend and then you shift as you come out of the water. And then it refills when you're out of the water. So you ascend and then shift. You can go really high. I want to get to a deeper part. Don't you dare. This will be a good one. Watch this. Oh, it's so goddamn fun. Ooh. Oh my god, something sounds so big! So I do this. I go. Look at how far you can go. And you go down as deep as you can get further. You gotta wait for it to come out cool down. And then you ascend. Look how far you can go. It's so fun. Isn't that sick? I've been doing it like... What is that? What is that? What was that whispering? Wanderer, oh, it hurts. Why are you hurting me? What is that whispering? That's the spores are painful. I've got to find a way to get inside the ship. I got to a spot where right there, I have to find a way to get in, like to break through the vines. I don't know. There's like some overgrowth. Oh my god. Is he stuck? Is he stuck? Hi, buddy. What you doing?
30 seconds.
Oh, not anymore.
The peak viral bloom is produced by an infected angel comb. The comb contains useful adaptations, but it must be cleared of virus. Treatment must begin with the juvenile combs nearby. Following infected rock boars may lead you to these juveniles.
Did it just tell me how to do it? There's George. Hi, George. How you doing, buddy? Oh, dinner. You managed to launch yourself out of the water up to... What? That's awesome. All right, I need to figure out how to get this. Peak viral bloom is produced by an infected angel comb. It contains useful adaptations, but it must be cleared of virus. Treatment must begin with the smaller blooms nearby. Follow infected rock borers may lead you... Oh shit, I gotta go back there. Okay. Do I have... I've got so much in my pocket right now. My toolbar is full. Oh, hi there. Hi, chicken. Okay. Right, let's go back up. Where were those spores? Oh, they're over here. More than anything. More than anything. Oh, where was I? I wasn't down there. The sounds are so scared. You have the clip? Send it in Discord server if you're not sure it should. Whatever works. I think there's just a generalized gaming one, isn't there? Anything much. Oh yeah, I forgot I left that there. Whoa, can I have that water or that air? Thank you. Dream come in. Oh, yeah. My wish for you that this life ain't all that you wanted. Now I want to listen to it. Oh, wasn't it closer? No. I'm trying. There's a big old bad boy up there. So I gotta find smaller ones. You don't...
Seconds.
What's that? Like, leave me alone, you little shit. Alright, I think I can sit out here and be safe. See something over there. See, there's plumes. How do I get rid of that? You know what? Let's go see if we can whack those. Yeah, I know. I was just showing him something, but now my ADHD. Sonic resonator. Okay.
This juvenile angel comb is a source of the local viral bloom. The virus forces it to pump nutrients into the rock pool below, which feeds a central viral factory nearby. Anchors to help clear the virus.
So I need to make something to clear the cankers. Oh. Yeah, what did it say I needed? Sonic resonator. What's that over there? There's lights over there. Let me go check that out. Yeah, it's an incredible game. You guys ever want to play, let me know. You can switch between solo gameplay and multiplayer, no problem. Can I make that thing yet? I think I can. You could never. Oh. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's a scary place underwater. Excuse me. Okay, let's see here. Can I even make this yet? Adaptation slugs. Can you bring me a cup so I can put here? No, not water. Hang on. Accidentally let my popsicle move. Excuse me. They need to add a collapse all. All right, let me just slingshot myself over there real quick. Let's see if I can make this thing yet. Damn it, I gotta build a base. I really don't want to build a base. No. That's right, I need an advanced fabricator, don't I? Don't I? You can't make me. See, I don't want to do this shit. I just want to explore. No way. No way. I don't want to build onto this. Yeah, I know you would. That's okay. Can I take the water out of this and build onto this? Is that a possibility or no? I really don't want to build. Now, does my building have to be underwater? It doesn't, does it? Or does it? Does it have to be underwater? Can I build above? Can I build up and out of the water? Is that possible? Huh. Do I need to have that titanium in my pocket? I'm assuming so. Yep. Yeah. Shell said that too, Jackal. Is it all titanium? Should I just bring this with me? I wonder... Oh, there we go. I thought I had another one with titanium in it. It is Subnautica 2. It is. I have no idea what I'm doing. Moon pool. Oh, that goes underneath it. No! I don't have enough. Oh, quartz? Does that say I needed a quartz? What did that say I needed? It's near the coral, the quartz is. Should be quartz over here. Should be quartz here too. Copper. It's on the Game Pass. Do you have the Game Pass? That's how I'm playing it, because I don't want to buy it.
Welcome aboard.
Should I build up out of the water? Do you guys always have your shit underground or underwater? Or do you build up? How do you guys build yours? I've never built one either, or at least I started, but I don't know what I'm doing. I wonder if I need power. Here, let's see here. Will it work?
Power connected. All systems online.
Easy.
Welcome aboard.
That's loud. Hooray! I did a thing. Look at that. Spotlight. Wait. How do I make that whatchamacallit?
Warning. Power offline.
Oh, fuck you. Alright. We need more power! I need more power! What do I need for this? And you light the way, you light the way, you light the wind. I'm gonna get 8. I never did pick that up, yeah. Why do I have so many batteries in my pocket? Jeez Louise, I need to empty them.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Wish I could send something automated out to go and gather for me. That'd be really cool. Like eventually you can level up and get something that would be really badass. "30 seconds. There's George. Hi, George. Hi, George. Hi, buddy. I knew that I made a good choice. For what? For my
Seek
best
fresh
friend.
water intake.
No. All right. Excuse me.
Seconds.
30 seconds. George, what you doing, mate? Hello, George. It's Georgie. You like the way.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. And just drop it. We're just gonna start with something really simple because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Power connected. All systems online. Welcome aboard.
I need ooh, we need make fiber. We need silver. System chip. How do we make a system chip? A wiring kit. Fuck, I gotta get them. What's in here? Is this full? It is. Was it just a basic wiring kit, I think? I'm so glad we can move. We have that dash. It's so nice. Isn't there one more box?
Welcome aboard.
Did I just make the same thing I already had? I did. I'm an idiot. Okay. Shit. How the hell do I need advanced stuff to make all this. Did I waste my wiring kit?
The Resonator's blueprints include several components not based on Altera designs, or any known human engineering. Despite these irregularities, the Resonator will selectively fracture mineral deposits and a narrow range of alien biomolecules.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Should we listen to something while I play? What do you think? I've been doing true crime. Listening to true crime. You guys want to listen to true crime? What do you mean, like music? I love true crime. Okay. Let me see how I can get this to work without unmuting. I guess I could do this. And then we could do... How we gonna make it work? Hi, crime junkies. We're gonna have to add an audio source. Remove. Oh yeah, I've got to restart. This thing is still in beta and it's still, I mean, it works great, but you have to restart it. See if it'll let me. Yeah. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Mm, 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 mm. Audio. Hide.
All true. And one of the biggest leads in the case came from a crime junkie just like you who trusted their instincts.
There we go.
And we might be just one. Hi, crime junkies.
Yeah.
Ashley
I can put it on the screen if you want to watch
solo
it.
Today. Well, not technically solo. I am with Maggie today. But anyways, even though Britt's not here, I didn't want that to stop me from telling you guys this story. Because the one I have for you today is so wild, it might sound like I'm describing the plot of this year's hottest blockbuster
Is it too loud?
release.
Let me know.
I promise it's all
I'll turn her down.
true. And one of the biggest leads in the case came from a crime junkie just like you who trusted their instincts. And we might be just one crime junkie tip away from finally knowing what happened to the now infamous pilot who murdered his wife, his secret lover, and her daughter.
Mega gas,
Did
not
he
her
meet his end in
daughter.
the forest? Or did this man use his survivalist and flying skills to launch a new life? Opinions are split. But we have brand new information that's never been reported before that might finally help determine where in the world is
Is
Michael
Carmen
going?
Sandiego?
July 12, 2017 is shaping up to be a typical workday for 17-year-old Gina Hunt. Gina helps maintain and clean campgrounds for her dad's management
Welcome
company in
back.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And this morning, she's tasked with weed whacking at the Pacific Creek campground. Now, before she leaves, Gina's dad's like, oh, hey, by the way, there is this abandoned car that someone dumped at campsite 4, which I've been meaning to have towed, but, for today, just kind of like work around it. And she does. But there is something about the white car at campsite 4 that she just can't shake.
Welcome aboard.
Part of it is the thick layer of dust on the windshield, as if it's been there for weeks. But the other part is the context she has being a local. I mean, she knows this is grizzly bear country, so Gina
Welcome aboard.
worries that the owner of the car went hiking and then maybe got attacked in the woods, which isn't unheard of in this area. So after she finishes up all of her work, she
Listening
walks
to one of
back
my,
over to the car and just peers inside. Now, there's nothing too interesting. She sees a blanket, a hat, a disposable
True
coffee
crime
cup,
shows that I've been listening
and she
to.
can't go snooping beyond that because the doors and the trunk are locked up tight. So in true crime junkie fashion,
Oh,
because,
shit.
by the way, we talked to Gina, and she is a legit listener of the show. I mean, like, not then. We didn't start the podcast till 5 months after this, but crime junkies, I always say, are born not to. And by the way, hey girl. So she snapped some photos of the car and its license plate to take back with her because there isn't a lick of cell service in this campground area anywhere near it. But when she gets home that evening, Gina hops on the computer. And the first thing she looks up is missing hiker's numbers. The second thing she Googles is the license plate. And when she types out Utah
Oh, hi.
129 UMP, her screen floods with headlines. Nationwide manhunt
Dehydration.
underway. Triple murder victims identified. Suspect in Idaho triple homicide, last seen in Ogden, might be driving a white Ford Focus. Trust your gut, folks. Sometimes it's nothing, but sometimes you break a case, because who knows if anyone would have connected the dots otherwise. So she flags this for her dad, who in turn calls the police. And we don't see
Welcome
this
aboard.
every day, but here, all law enforcement agencies are picking up the phone and talking to one another, sharing information. So by that same night, police investigating a triple murder in Canyon County, Idaho, 7 hours west, know that one of the cars they put into NCIC a few weeks ago in connection to their suspect now has been found. Idaho authorities asked them to secure the car ASAP while they get on the road and start writing a search warrant. And in the meantime, an Idaho detective sends a bullet point memo to the Wyoming authorities to get them up to speed on the crime that they're investigating and the fugitive that they're looking for, Michael Bullinger. And we actually obtained that memo. It reads, quote, "There is not a clear motive, but it appears Bullinger suddenly, uncontrollably, and explosively snapped over something. There is a love triangle. Most grisly crime scene he has investigated in 20 years. Bodies were dumped in a pile, all shot in the head, covered in hay, in an outbuilding." End quote. Now there's a lot packed into this memo, so let me break down for you exactly what I've come to learn about the crime scene in Idaho
Nom, nom,
and everything that led
nom,
up to
nom.
this getaway car discovery. So 3 weeks before, on June 18th, a deputy out in Caldwell,
This is a
Idaho,
lot better
had
than
been
dealing
sent
with
out to do a
siblings.
welfare check
Tell
on
me
a guy
about it.
named Gerald Michael Bullinger, who goes by Mike, and his wife
30
Sharon.
seconds.
Now, Mike's son had called in and said that no one had been able to get a hold of his dad or his stepmom who live in Utah. But they'd recently bought a house in Caldwell, so they're thinking maybe they're there. Like, could someone go and check? Because it wasn't a quick trip for the son, who lives way down in New Mexico. Now, when the deputy pulls up to this house, he sees that there are cars in the driveway. Everything looks in order, but nobody answers the door when he knocks. So he leaves. The next day, the same department
No, they tend to do
another
that.
welfare check to the same address. But this time, it's a woman named Tammy calling from Utah. And she said that she was worried about her friend Nadia and Nadia's teenage daughter Peyton because no one can get a hold of them, and both have stopped posting on Facebook. And apparently, Nadia is like a prolific Facebook poster, so this is cause for concern. Now, Tammy tells police Nadia and Peyton just moved to Caldwell from Utah with Nadia's boyfriend, Mike Bullinger. Now, no one knows what's what at this point. They just send another deputy back out to the house. Again, they knock, no answer, car's still there. But this time, the deputy decides to have a look around the property. And when he makes his way out back, near a shed, he gets a whiff of that very distinct odor known to most in law enforcement: decom. That is enough to at least open the door to the shed. And right away, he spots them. 3 bodies. And because of how decomposed they were, he can't say who they are or even if the people he's looking at are men or women. But of course, detectives are running the license plates of the cars that are at the house and taking into account the welfare check calls. And so they're pretty sure that these 3 people are gonna end up being Mike's wife, Cheryl Baker, Mike's girlfriend, Nadia Medley, and Nadia's daughter, 14-year-old Peyton. Police end up getting a search warrant for the house and the rest of the property, kind of expecting to find Mike's body too, thinking this is some kind of murder-suicide situation. But Michael isn't there. Meaning, instead of murder-suicide, they have a mass murder and a fugitive on the run. One who has had a big jump on them and who left little behind in the way of clues. I mean, there's no note and no murder weapon, even though it's clear that all three died of gunshot wounds, shot exactly where they were found. And not even the family pets were spared. Family members that we interviewed said that some caged birds found in the house had died, though it's unclear how. But it is.
Oh no,
clear
that's
he
not it.
shot
There's
the
another
family
node.
members.
There it is.
And what Sheriff Donahue with the Canyon County Sheriff's Office believes was an effort to prevent them from attracting any attention to the crime scene. Because even though their house in Caldwell, Idaho was on the outskirts of town, I mean, it's still within the greater Boise metro area, so there were neighbors to be happy for something. According to past reporting by the Associated Press, one of those neighbors told police that she thought she heard gunshots about 10 days before. She also thought she heard a woman's scream sometime between June 6th and the 10th. And it was like early in the morning when everything heard it. And that lines up with the timeline that they start to build and what the coroner thinks that, which is that the victims, who they confirm are 56-year-old Cheryl Baker, 47-year-old Nadia Medley, and 14-year-old Peyton Medley. The coroner said they were all shot in the head, likely on June 8th or June 9th. Now, the other thing that's come into focus through interviewing everyone is that Michael Bollinger was living a double life. One at this house in Caldwell, where he moved with his girlfriend Nadia and her daughter and was playing pseudo.
It's Subnautica too.
And then another life in Ogden, Utah, as Cheryl's husband, planning a retirement together. And the truth of this shocks everyone when they find out. Cheryl's brother told our reporter that he thought the two of them seemed pretty happy. Cheryl was Mike's second or maybe third wife. I've actually seen police reports that say Cheryl was his third wife, but I haven't been able to find any proof of a second wife. But either way, Cheryl and Mike had been together for like a decade and married about 5 years. And in that time, they enjoyed plenty of hobbies together, like hiking and rafting. They seemed to genuinely enjoy one another. But for at least the last 2 years, Mike had been secretly dating Nadia. One of Nadia's relatives told us that she had no idea Mike was married. He says they met because Nadia was a massage therapist and Mike had been her client. And Nadia sure didn't act like their relationship was a secret or anything. I mean, everyone in her life knew about Mike, and Nadia had pictures of him all over her Facebook page. Now, cheating, not totally a new concept for Mike. His first wife, Jackie, told the Idaho Statesman that Mike had cheated on her too. And some believe that Cheryl had even begun to suspect it in the time leading up to her death. And Jackie even made allegations to that same news outlet that Mike had been physically abusive toward her. But still, he doesn't have much of a criminal history to speak of. So how does someone go from affair to murdering 3 people? One of whom isn't even one of the women you're tangled up with. One of them is a child. I don't know if anyone but Michael will know exactly what happened in that house or in that shed back in June of 2017. But investigators have a pretty good theory of what happened. According to property records, Michael and Cheryl bought that Idaho house that spring. He sold this to Cheryl as a place that they could eventually move to, a place where they could enjoy their retirement, which was right around the corner. But what Mike actually wanted it for was his other little family. Because according to neighbors and Facebook posts, shortly after purchasing it, Nadia and Peyton moved in, and they thought they were living with Mike. Now, maybe Mike was going back and forth to keep up this ruse, but how long could this have worked? Eventually, Cheryl is going to want to move in or, at a minimum, visit the house in Idaho. It was inevitable that his 2 worlds were going to collide. It was just a matter of when, and when came sooner than he ever planned.
I am
hopping on to start a conversation about a case. I cannot get it out of my head. A true mind bender. A huge twist your way. You gut check all your assumptions. Because this is a case that starts like so many before.
Hi, friend.
No one knows why Cheryl showed up unannounced at the house in Idaho in early June. Cheryl's siblings said that she had prior plans that week to be at a religious event out of town, but like something must have changed. Was she suspicious, like her brother thinks she was? Or was she trying to just surprise her husband? Either way, when she arrived on either June 8th or 9th, all of Mike's lies were exposed. What was said, how long it took him to make up his mind about what he was going to do, nobody knows. But somehow, at some point, he marched all 3 women to the shed and executed them. After he had time to gather his things and make a plan, he grabbed the ice cream. Before becoming the most wanted fugitive across multiple states, he enjoys a solo sit-down breakfast at a local cocktail joint called the Joint on June 10th. And then after breakfast, Mike drives back to his other house that he shares with Cheryl in Augusta. It's like a 4.5-hour drive, and it's confirmed he did this through surveillance cameras that captured him. What we know is that he leaves his pickup truck there at the house, hops on a bicycle, and then rides that bicycle to a nearby car dealership where he picks up Cheryl's white Ford Focus that was out of service. Now, the next morning, a text message is sent from Cheryl's phone to one of her longtime friends. But her family and the police firmly believe that it was Michael who was sending that message. And it said, quote, "Take care of my dogs. I don't know if I'm coming back." End quote. Now, at this point, Cheryl's family was already worried about her, but this text...
Can the
sent
other
off
chat
to
see you?
friends
Yes, they can see you.
because none of this was like her. She wasn't the type to up
They
and
can.
leave on a whim, or if she were going to, she had far more care for the people in her life than to leave them behind wondering what happened to her. She was a Buddhist and a beloved teacher. She started out her career at the Utah School for the Deaf and Blind and later taught art school. She loved her students and making quilts for her loved ones, and she spent all her free time rafting rivers or hiking with her dogs. Now, no one knows why Mike did this truck to bike to car switcheroo in Utah, but I assume it's because he knows that these bodies are going to be found any minute, and he wants to be in a car that isn't registered directly to him.
Miss Dehema, if I get reset, the mirror breach got me. Should have brought flares. Stupid. Had a parasite on it. Full of virus. Bloom virus. I got a scan. It doesn't match the virus in our blood. Legs won't move, so you can't fix it. Trying to tourniquet. Listen, Miss Dehema, Bloom isn't Macefield. Woo's wrong. Bloom isn't Macefield. It hurts. Sorry, your kids don't listen, Mom. She's gonna kill me for dying again.
To him. Not that the car of the wife you just murdered is any better, but I don't know what he's thinking.
Okay, I
Police
gotta
say
go
that
back
Mike,
to the
after he
bloom.
sent that text from her phone, drives 5 hours away where he's caught on surveillance cameras again, entering Grand Teton National Park through the Moran entrance in Wyoming. That is at 10:34 a.m. on June 11, and he's still in Cheryl's white Ford Focus. Now, what's
Yeah,
really
let's try this again.
interesting
Let's
is
go
where
on.
he entered the national park. You can get to the campground where his car is eventually found by our crime junkie Gina in about 30 minutes. But when we interviewed the campground host, Paul, he said that he first noticed the car on June 23rd. And as far as he knows, it sat there until Gina blew the whistle on July 12th. Now, granted, it's not like he had his eyes on it every single minute of every single day. He worked a lot of campgrounds and would pop by this one like once a week. But he told us that sometimes hikers park in campsites, not realizing that they need to pay the camping fee if they wanted to park there overnight. So he left a note on this car's windshield. A few days later, he leaves another note. But he never did see anyone in or around the car. So the real question to me isn't even if this car moved after June 23rd. Like, I think the answer is no. To me, the real question is, where was the car? And Michael, between when he entered this park on June 11th and then when his car first was spotted abandoned June 22nd. But that is still a mystery. No one has him on any other surveillance cameras that we know of, and there are no other sightings of him.
Very potent genetic material detected. Searching for useful secrets. Adapting heat shock proteins. Your body can now survive elevated water temperatures.
That's what I thought. Yeah, you leave me alone. Nice.
And in that time frame. But that's the window of time when the bodies are found, and when a bolo went out for him in the state of Idaho. Now, who knows if he had access to the internet or news at that time. But I do find it interesting that the triple murders start to get splashed all over the news around June 20th or so. And then Mike's car gets abandoned just a few days later.
I think I should have scanned that and I didn't.
This brings me to the moment I have been dying to tell you about.
Well, hi, George.
What they found inside his
Hi, Georgie.
And this is exclusive, brand spanking new information. Our reporter Emily has been working on this case for literal years. I mean, before she was even at Audio Chuck, she covered this area of Jackson Hole for a local newspaper. And she got these details back in 2017, but it was off the record then. And she has been sitting on it this whole time. But patience paid off. Because during her reporting for this episode, Sheriff Donahue gave us permission to finally share all of this. So I'm actually going to read directly from an investigative report, which gives the results of the search warrant. 1. The trunk compartment of the Ford Focus was open and it contained a full complement of camping equipment. 2. The camping inventory included sleeping bag, tent, cot, day pack, survival gear, matches, fire soda, space blanket, and first aid kit, blue plastic tarp, outdoor clothes, boots, an all-purpose utility tool, and 2 water bottles. One was full of water and the other was empty. No food were present in the trunk or inside the car.
You're back. Hi, Zen. How you doing?
Empty cooler in the trunk.
You're trying to get that clip, but it doesn't
3,
want to work. That's okay.
tucked just inside the trunk compartment was an empty
I believe
leather
you.
holster that once protected a handgun. The missing handgun from the leather holster appeared to have been a large revolver. 4. Conspicuously located inside the trunk compartment was all the personal identifications belonging to Gerald Mike Bollinger. This included his wallet full of personal documents, a laptop, nearly $3,600 in cash, and his Utah driver's license. All of this was found in Bollinger's brown canvas day pack. Also in the day pack was a .357 revolver in a holster. The pistol was fully loaded. 5. Remarkably left behind in the trunk of the Ford Focus were all 3 murdered victims' smartphones and Bollinger's own smartphone. 6. Also left behind in the trunk, which unequivocally tied Bollinger to the homicide crime scene, 2 women's purses. One purse with Nadia Medley's personal identification, and the other purse with the identification of Cheryl Baker in wallet, both of the murdered adult female victims. Now, Sheriff Donahue would not confirm if the gun that was found in the trunk was the murder weapon. All he would say is that the murder weapon has been located, and it was found outside of the state of Idaho. Now, the car, the trunk, whatever, is an easy conclusion to jump to, right, of where they could have found it. But I think it's a good reminder to tell you that Michael's house, where he dropped his truck off, is also outside of the state of Idaho. So, is that where he picked up all that survivalist gear and cash? Or did he make other stops that we just don't know about at other places where a gun might have been left?
Let me in.
Whatever the case, it's the empty gun holster that they found that makes them believe wherever Mike is now, he is quite literally armed and dangerous. A massive manhunt gets underway for Mike in northwest Wyoming. And to prepare for the searches, authorities are gathering intel from Mike's friends and family. And they learn some very interesting things. First of which is that Mike grew up in Billings, Montana, and he has extensive family there. And fun fact,
Uh-oh.
if you drive from Ogden, Utah to Billings, Montana, where are you going to pass through if you take a route that avoids major highways?
I might die down here.
Why? Right through western Wyoming, Jackson Hole in particular. And the authorities find out that Mike was actually registered to attend a motorcycle event in Billings that took place June 26th to June 30th. The dude had no issue throwing back some eggs and sausage right after killing his wife, girlfriend,
We're listening
and young
to,
girl with his stepdaughter. How far-fetched is it to think that he dumped
True
his car
crime
around June
podcast
23rd when it's first spotted and then somehow made his way up to Billings just in time for this event? And one more fun fact. While Michael did have a motorcycle that was left at his house in Utah, according to an internal police bulletin that we obtained, it stated that Mike also had access to another unknown motorcycle. I wish I had any more information on that, but I don't. Now, I don't know how deeply they look into this motorcycle event to see if he showed up or if they would even know. But I know they did go search his parents' house in Billings, and they found no sign of him there. Though I'm not sure when those searches happened. Mike's family members have never spoken publicly, and they didn't return any of our calls. His son, Bryant, did text Emily back, but he declined to do an interview. Now, the other thing they learn about Mike is that he is a career pilot who can fly almost any type of plane. He also has experience as a backcountry wilderness guide, specifically in Montana. Guess where else? Northwest Wyoming. In fact, his son Bryant told police that his dad's favorite place is the Thoroughfare, which straddles the southeast corner of Yellowstone National Park. And when I looked this up, I have never heard of a better place for a fugitive to hide. The Thoroughfare is the most remote place in the United States outside of Alaska. You can only get there by foot or horseback, and there are ranger cabins just kind of like dotted for miles along the river. So with that intel, the FBI, U.S. Marshals, park rangers, Forest Service, and local cops
You're not trying to copy?
all set out to
I
find
don't
this
care.
60-year-old fugitive.
You do
They
you.
deployed 4
I'm never
different
judge you.
canine teams. They close down roads. They set up checkpoints, evacuate the nearest subdivisions to the campsite, and search
You
every
chillin'.
house, garage, crawl space, and shed looking for this guy. They also check flight logs at Jackson Hole Airport, which conveniently is only like 20 miles away from where Mike left the car. They're also checking tail numbers of private planes to try and see if Mike could have gained
I'm
access
eating my
to one of
popsicle.
those in June or July. And they announce in the local news that if anyone picked up a hitchhiker in the past month who looked like Mike Bullinger, please call police. Hitchhiking is actually super common in this area.
You guys wanna watch this?
Of all the rafting that happens.
I can put it on my screen.
They also send cops and rangers out on horseback and in helicopters with infrared to check the cabins out in the Thoroughfare, half expecting to find Mike just like holed up with his gun. But despite those searches that continued around the clock day and night for days, all of it results in a whole lot of nothing. So if he's not there, where in the actual world could he be? By now, there is an official warrant out for Mike's arrest, and news of what happened is spreading far and wide. So hundreds of tips are coming in, both in Idaho and Wyoming, which is great, but also not. Because Mike is the most average-looking 60-year-old, 6-foot-tall, 240-pound white guy with gray hair. Teton County Sheriff Matt Carr said that he looks like everybody's grandpa. Carr's office alone worked 64 tips in those weeks during the manhunt. Someone reported seeing him in the produce section of the local grocery store, at a Walmart in Michigan, at the Dairy Queen in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Most of them, obviously, turned out not to be him, otherwise I might be telling you a different story. But there was one credible tip that came in from a family who'd been out hiking near the Pacific Creek campground. That's where the Ford Focus was found. And they reported a strange interaction with a man on the trail in early July. On July 1st, a local district ranger, his wife, and 2 of their teen kids are hiking on the trail that starts at the Pacific Creek campground. Now, it's about 4:45 p.m. when the ranger stops to cut down a tree that's on the path, and his wife and kids decide to just keep going. And a little ways up the trail, mom and kids come across a
There we go.
haired man
Can you see
wearing
that?
a baseball hat and jeans.
You guys on the
But
vertical
most of
stream
his
might not be able
clothes are
to.
dirty, like he'd been out there for some time. The thing is, he isn't carrying a hiking pack or water or anything. Mom notices that this man turns his face away as they pass him, and she says hello, but the man doesn't even reply. Now, at the time, she thinks his behavior is odd, but she doesn't really give it another thought until July 16th, when she sees Mike Bullinger's picture on the news. She immediately thinks that is the man she saw on the trail, so she reports it to police. When asked on a scale from 1 to 10 how certain she was it was him, she said 7 or 8. Now, the problem with this sighting is snow. Even though we're talking about midsummer in July, the campground is at a high altitude, almost 7,000 feet above sea level, and the trail goes up even higher from there. So if you tried to hike that trail, say in mid-June when the car was found, you'd come across a ton of snow pretty quickly. And so if it is him, we know a lot of his camping and survival stuff is back at the car, in the trunk. So this isn't a perfect lead, but it is the best.
This is literally what I
lead we have.
listened to.
And law enforcement considers
what
this
I've been
July
doing.
1st trail sighting legit. So they searched that trail area extensively during the manhunt. They do find a spot where it looks like someone started a campfire, but no Mike there, no gun, no piles of clothes or anything. So after more false sightings, the manhunt gets scaled way back towards the end of July. And police are left with 3 competing theories about Mike's whereabouts. 1, he's hiding in the woods undetected. 2, he used the missing gun to take his own life and they just haven't come across his body yet. Or 3, Mike Bullinger somehow managed to leave the area, and the guy who was living 2 lives now has started a 3rd, somewhere without a thought given to the devastation he left behind. Now, I haven't talked much yet about Nadia and Peyton, and I want to because this was a mother-daughter duo who had a lot of life to look forward to. Nadia was a widow and raising Peyton on her own after losing her husband in 2014. And it's clear from her social media how much she loved her daughter. A few days before they died, on June 3rd, Nadia posted a picture of Peyton showing off the makeup that she'd done for a Pride social media video. And Peyton was a typical teen girl. I mean, her Facebook is full of like moody selfies, and she loved animals, volleyball, writing, and soccer. One of Peyton's school friends told KUTV back then that she called Mike Dad. So many people believe that Mike just got caught off guard by Cheryl, and feeling backed into a corner, he snapped. But I don't know. I can't help but wonder if this was his plan the whole time. Or even if he was backed into a corner, why did he have to resort to murder? I mean, the man had cheated and gotten divorced before. Like, what happened this time? And I wanted to do more than just ask the question. I mean, there is something about family annihilators I feel like I just have to get to the bottom of. What were the signs? How do you know if there is potential for the man that you love to one day turn on you in the worst possible way? So we actually reached out to a forensic psychologist, Jeffrey Frazier, to get his take. Jeff says that Bullinger appears to have an insecure attachment style, which makes him highly reactive to potential public humiliation. I haven't touched on this yet, but Mike was actually brought up in an LDS household. Jeff says that people who are brought up in rigid religious households might lack coping skills when confronted unexpectedly. We don't know if that was the case for Mike, but if so, it leans more toward the theory that he was surprised and panicked. Now, the background with his first wife and the fact that he was in this second or maybe third marriage, living a double life for so long, also makes Jeff think that Bullinger lacks empathy. So while most people might admit fault or ask for forgiveness or feel shame, Bullinger is more likely to be violent because he doesn't have those same barriers between a logical solution and homicide. Jeff actually brought John List up when we were asking him about Bullinger. And for those of you unfamiliar, in 1971 in New Jersey, John List killed his mom, his wife, and his 3 kids at their house and then disappeared. He assumed a new identity, got remarried, and went 18 years totally undetected. And when he finally did get caught, he said he was in major debt and just wanted to spare his family the shame of losing their New Jersey mansion. It's like White Lotus season 3, anybody? Now, we don't know that Bullinger was facing any money problems. Cheryl and Mike were both employed. They didn't seem to have any, significant debt. But one of Cheryl's loved ones did tell us that Mike was pressuring Cheryl to put his name on the deed of the Utah house before they moved to Idaho, almost as if he was worried he wouldn't be getting any of the cash from that sale. But Cheryl had said no. Now, something else I find interesting about Mike and
You got it? Hell yeah.
relationships is the fact that every woman he was with had very different religious beliefs.
I'm gonna stand up
His
for a
first
while.
wife,
I've
Jackie,
been
was
sitting for a long
LDS, like
time.
Mike. Cheryl was Buddhist. Nadia was atheist. Now, Jeff, the forensic psychologist we interviewed, didn't have any strong theories about this. But I kind of wonder if this was Mike's way of making sure none of his overlapping lovers ever crossed paths socially. Now, over the next year, there are more sightings reported of Mike Bullinger around the country, but nothing noteworthy. The only thing that becomes of great interest to police doesn't happen until the summer of 2018. And this isn't a sighting of Mike. Someone hiking up the Pacific Creek Trail finds a gun. This backpacker named Ben found it under a log in the creek. And it seems like a bit of a miracle, like the water and the light hit this thing just right so that somehow he saw something shiny and then went digging for it. The thing is fully loaded too. So he takes it with him, calls the sheriff's office the next day when they finally get cell service. And then as soon as Ben tells the deputy where exactly he found it and what kind of gun it is, the deputy has this oh moment where he's like, this could be Michael Bullinger's gun, the one that he took off with. It's a Ruger 357, which would fit in the empty gun holster. So Ben drops this gun off and a detective contacts the ATF to search the serial number. And interestingly, the gun is registered to not Mike Bullinger, but instead to an older man who lives in Utah. What are the odds? Now, when police reach out to the gun owner, he says that he bought the gun in 1980 in Utah, but he hasn't seen the gun in 20 years. He said he sold it to someone, but he doesn't remember who. Now, the cops check out his story. They confirm as much as they can. Yes, he did in fact buy it from a dealer in 1980 in Utah, but beyond that, there's no paper trail. But in this country, there wouldn't be if it was a private sale. Now, this man seemingly has no ties to Michael Bullinger, other than being about the same age and also living in Utah, in a town about 30 minutes from Ogden, where Michael lived. And he says he has no idea how his gun wound up in Wyoming. Detectives checked with various agencies in Utah to see if the gun had been pawned. They even checked with the manufacturer Ruger to see if the gun ever made it back to them for maintenance, but no go. Now, something I learned during our research for this episode is that in the Mountain West, large revolvers are also known as bear guns. Basically, if you're going hiking in grizzly bear areas such as this, it is highly suggested that you carry a revolver for your own safety. Which makes me wonder, when Bullinger left his car, he might have grabbed that gun for his own safety, not necessarily to use it on himself. I mean, think about it. He's familiar with this area. He knows the grizzlies are active there. And he would have known that they're especially dangerous to encounter in June because they've been hibernating all winter, just woke up, and they are hungry AF. But maybe it's just the weirdest coincidence of all time that this Utah gun that fits his empty holster shows up near an area where we also have the only potential credible sighting of him. A retired
I'm good. How are
investigator that
you?
we interviewed who processed the gun says he thinks it looked like it had not been in the woods for a year. Essentially, it was like too clean looking. But to play devil's advocate, it's a stainless steel gun that was in a creek. And the reports note corrosion on the bullet, so I don't know. We actually got some evidence pictures of the gun and Mike's holster that you can check out on the blog post for this episode. Listen, I'm no gun expert, so if you are and you have a strong opinion on this, find me, DM me, or email us, tips@audiochuck.com. In the end, while this gun is highly suspicious, police can't rule it in or out of this case definitively, so it kind of got logged into evidence, kept until 2020, when for reasons unknown, even to current investigators, it was...
I'm doing
destroyed.
amazingly. How are you?
Maybe Emily reached out to the retired investigator who processed the gun, and he says he logged it into evidence, and as far as he knows, it is still sitting in evidence. But a different retired evidence technician made a report saying that the gun was destroyed in 2020, and when Emily reached out to him, he couldn't remember anything about the gun. The current detective says he's doing evidence inventory sometime soon, and he promises he will call us if he comes across the gun. If this gun was Michael Bullinger's, I think we would be able to say that he didn't die by suicide, because they would expect there to be at least one missing bullet from the gun. But this one was fully loaded.
You're just chilling good. I'm
Still,
glad.
Just to be sure, a few days after this
Can I
gun
use
was
this on
found,
this?
in August 2018,
Oh, I have to
Denver dogs
actually.
were taken to the area, and they did show interest in a spot up the trail. Not as high up as where the gun was found, but actually closer to the spot that the family thought they saw Michael. So that week, the U.S. Marshals came back to Jackson Hole and put together a task force of federal agents and local deputies to do another search of Pacific Creek Trail. Our reporter Emily actually got to tag along on this search and recorded audio of the whole thing, where a detective talks through what they're looking for and why and where. I'm actually going to be dropping that audio in our field notes in the fan club, along with some crime scene photos. So,
Hey,
fan clubbers,
Zara.
make sure you look for that. They end up searching
How
a
you doing?
4-mile radius that day, but nothing is found. Which is hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, if he...
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm just too lazy to change it.
Welcome aboard.
I gotta make it.
He died out there in the wilderness.
We're listening
Like
to-
so many people
we're listening
still
to
believe. How have they
true
done all
crime.
this searching and found zero trace of him? Now, along this line, there are two leading theories.
Today's episode is brought to you by Tree Hut, and thanks to them and thanks to
There we
you, I'm able to make a donation this week to the Old Strong Pancreatic Cancer
Need more power.
Foundation. To learn more about the amazing work they do, please visit the link in my description. I was so excited when Tree Hut reached out to me to sponsor these episodes because I've been using Tree Hut for years. Now, I take my body products very seriously, and I'm not only looking for things that smell good, but I want things that work. And Tree Hut hits all those boxes because, first of all, they have the best smelling products in the world. They just smell so good. They have a 6-oil blend in all their scrubs: coconut, evening primrose, avocado macadamia, sweet almond, safflower, and orange oils. All of their lotions are formulated with ceramides and squalane. They provide enhanced hydration that creates a...
Oh, it'll be
perfect skin
fixed? Are you fixing it?
I truly can't tell you how much I love
They
this
cost
brand,
$12
and
to
I know
order,
you
and the
too.
shops
They're
wanted me to pay
available at
$300. I know, right?
And Walmart. Okay, Okay,
The
one
game's
quick smell
good.
for the road here.
I'm just chilling.
So good. Thanks so much, Tree Hut, for sponsoring my show. You can check out the full collection by clicking the link in my description.
No. Fuck your no, just kidding. How long is that gonna
Hello, everyone,
take?
and welcome back to True Crime with Kendall Ray. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are new, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. So
I'll
today
just
we
need
have a case
one.
that so many of you have
Yeah, I
talked
took my
about,
GPU
and
apart to
it's
clean it
something that
myself.
I have been
I knew it would be
following since
astronomical to
this
try to.
first broke. I actually started doing updates on it on my podcast, The Sesh, which is
Oh,
a
you could do that yourself. You don't need a tech degree for that.
opinion podcast. So we did quite a bit of coverage on it there, but I wanted
It'll be good practice
to
for it.
really dive in and do a full.
But that is something anyone could do.
Yet again, we are talking about
It's just like
someone
fixing a
who
car.
faked an illness. Someone
Same
who faked
thing.
Cancer, which I've covered a few cases like this in the past.
You got
year, and
YouTube
it's
University.
just mind-blowing to me how many people do this. And this time we're talking about.
Oh shit, I watched this one already.
Also a
Fuck this
TikToker,
bitch.
and went to
This person.
pretty extreme. Today's episode is brought to you by PDS Den.
Or we could
And I wanted
do.
to tell you guys a little story. Right around the time that my husband and I got engaged, which was 2014, and we were just wrapping up college, I found out that while we were in school, my husband had racked up quite a bit of credit card debt.
I love her. We'll listen to her.
Christian Bale in American Psycho. Hi friends, how are you today? Hey, my name is
You guys,
Lisa,
I'm gonna
and
force you to
today
listen to my
is
favorite true
Stories of
crime
Mystery and
podcast.
Mystery Monday.
Get on.
If you're new here, hi, my name is Bailey Sarian, and on Mondays I sit down and talk about a true crime story.
Uh-oh.
That's been heavy on my
Noggin.
noggin. And
All right.
I was about to say brain skull, and I don't know where that was coming from. And I do my makeup at the same
I love her.
time.
She's so
If you're
funny.
interested in true crime and you like makeup,
Look at that, we got
subscribe because I'm here for you on
fancy
Mondays.
fiber mesh. How do I make fiber
You may
mesh?
have noticed it's October.
Strong acid. Can I make?
So I went off, changed my background to give some kind of spookiness to today's episode. Hello. Well, listen, I realized last minute, I was like, oh, hey, like this is like a Halloween episode. Like,
How the fuck do I get that?
No, I don't even have time to. I didn't have time to think. So for today's look, I decided, you know what? I want
Necrolysis. Necrolysis.
This look, yeah. I don't want to be Wednesday Addams. I want to be Morticia. So that's what I'm gonna go for today. Okay.
Oh, I've heard
But
this
that's not even
one.
the point. The point is today's story. Today's story. So this story takes place in the mid 90s. Daytime talk shows.
Got this one.
Everything. There's so many daytime talk
You need to
shows.
convince your sister to get repo.
Oh, it was so bad.
You don't need to convince.
A lot of these daytime talk shows.
How do I get
the more, like,
this
shocking stories
necrolite?
that would make the audience just be blown away? What? Like shock value, right? Before clickbait was a thing, there was like clickbait with
Oh.
daytime talk shows. It was just out of control. It was great. I loved it. So the Jenny Jones show was on throughout the 90s, and the ratings were, I mean, they were pretty high. They were good. They were good. Okay. Her episodes covered everything from teens being too hot.
Northwest.
My goth kid needs a makeover. Teen by day. Vampires. These were
My
actually
tummy
episode
hurts.
topics. Just looking for the makeover ones. Oh, I love the makeover ones. Like, my teen is a goth, and I want her to have a preppy makeover. Oh, yeah. Or the other ones where, like, really bad teenagers would come in and be like, I like to fight. And then they would send the teenagers off to boot camp. Golden. Now, Jenny Jones was going to be filming an episode about secret crushes. The plan was to surprise your crush on national.
Just buy it for her.
This is where Scott comes in.
You gotta stop buying
Not really
snacks.
sure how Scott
Average.
found out about this show, but he did, and he
Then
went
you
in
can't.
wanting to be on this episode. His story was accepted, and he got the opportunity to be flown out and appear on the Jenny Jones show. So another man by the name of Jonathan Schmitz, He was 24 years old at the time. He
My
agreed
tummy
to
hurts.
So on March 6, 1995, the taping of the show had taken place. So Scott is on stage and John is in the back. He doesn't know that Scott's the one with the crush. Okay, Scott's on the stage talking to Jenny Jones, just going over how he has this crush on John. He met John. He says that he went over to see his friend Donna at her apartment, and John was working like under her car, on her car or something. And Scott tells the audience that he immediately saw John's hot body. Scott then goes on to say that he just kept thinking about John and having all these crazy fantasies about him, like sharing a bottle of champagne, hanging out together on a hammock, just little things. But Scott said that he wasn't actually sure if John was gay or not. Now, at this time, John had absolutely 100% no idea who his secret admirer was. Producers of the show said it could be a man or a woman, and that it would be revealed if he came on the show.
How do I?
So, of course, when John
How do I get a survival multi-tool?
my secret admirer, someone likes me, so he said yes. Now, the actual show itself, it didn't air on TV for reasons that we'll get into. Some clips were released by the media and also used for court purposes. When Scott revealed that he had a crush on John, John was obviously surprised and shocked to hear that Scott had a crush on him. Everything seemed like it was fine, but then John crush on him. Played pool, professional, I'm on TV, no big deal. But deep down, he was living.
Who needs a boat when you can be a dolphin, right?
They fly back home, and when Scott gets home, Scott went out for a long night of drinking, and then he didn't return home until the early hours. And when he returned home, he found a spicy note that was left for him by Scott. Now, when John finds this letter from Scott, it just set John over the edge. John would say that Scott's homosexuality frightened him, and he felt humiliated and he felt really angry. So with all of these feelings John's having, just anger, humiliation, frightened, John immediately goes to the bank, pulls out cash, and then goes and buys a gun. So once John gets the weapon, he drives over to Scott's house. He goes to the
Oh, you just strike the orb. Oh.
Scott, write me this note. We're not 100% sure what this conversation looked like.
Oh, it's with that.
John allegedly went back to his car. He sat there and contemplated what his actions were. John then grabs his gun, gets out of the car, goes back up to Scott's house, and then he shoots him twice in the chest. Shortly after John shoots Scott, he calls 911 and he confesses to what he does. He's crying on the phone and he says, I just shot somebody. Yeah, so he calls and he tells them what he just did. Cut and dry, right? No. Of course not. John's lawyer claims that John went out to drink with friends from work. After coming home in the morning, he found a note that was left by Scott, which said, quote, "If you really want to get off, I'm the only one who has the right tool," end quote. The next morning, when apparently John confronted Scott and ended his life. The Jenny Jones producer later testified that John called the studio the day after filming the show and told her that John and Scott had what producers referred to as a love match.
Well, I agree. It is. I appreciate you being here.
Time after Scott was killed, his family tried to make some kind of sense as to what happened. They really blamed Jenny Jones' show. So John's mother actually came out and claimed that Jenny Jones pushed into doing things he didn't want to do to make it look good for the audience. And if he didn't do that, then Jenny Jones would be very mad. In John's defense, he claimed that the producers of the Jenny Jones show, quote, ambushed him. And John goes on to say that he knew someone had a crush on him, but he assumed that it was probably his ex-fiancée. He was engaged to for a couple of years, so he was thinking, oh, it's probably her. Yeah, I'll go to the show, no big deal. And producers of the show,
Like a new Minecraft player.
John, that it was possible
Welcome aboard.
crush could have been a man or a woman, and they said that they told him this and they stood by that. Oh, I forgot to mention, John did get arrested. He got arrested and he was sitting in jail awaiting his trial. They were having a really hard time determining if John was mentally stable when he went after Scott. Lawyers claimed that their client was manic depressive and that he'd been up all night drinking and smoking pot before he killed Scott, so he wasn't in the right mindset before he did it. John's lawyers attempted to put the Jenny Jones show on trial to deflect guilt from John. Alcoholism, depression, and a chronic thyroid condition. They're just trying to deflect, okay? That's their job. That's what they're getting paid for. It's a shitty job. It's a shitty job. Could you imagine trying to stand up for the bad guys? For those people? Because, I mean, how do you represent
Fuck.
the bad guys? I would be like, sorry, man, you're on your own. But whatever. Anyways, now, here's the thing that I learned. This is what blew my mind, that this was a thing. Because I had no idea this was a thing. The main defense they were claiming as to why John did this, and this is what it's called. Don't come after me. It's called the gay panic defense.
What?
It's a thing. Let me tell you. Gay panic defense, okay? What? Now, this sounds like an absolute joke, but surprise, it's a real thing. So, gay panic defenses are legal techniques commonly used in court battles regarding actions committed against members of the LGBTQ+ community. In a gay panic defense, the defendant argues they lost control because of their victim's sexual orientation. You guys, and there are a lot of cases that
That's wild.
Now, it helped John's defense attorneys sway the court and reduce his charges. Gay panic defense is permitted in every
The
US
rebreather
state
scrubs
except
carbon
California,
dioxide from
Illinois,
exhaled
and
air,
Rhode Island.
recycling wasted oxygen for
So let
reuse.
me double check that. They were having a really hard time deciding what to do with John. To us, I feel like it, well, to me, I can only speak for myself. It seems very cut and dry. He killed a guy. He called 911. He confessed. That's it, right? No, they were having such a hard time.
Wait, that's it? You know she... That was juicy.
Today's episode is brought to you by PDS Debt, and I wanted to tell you guys a little story. Right around the time that my husband and I got engaged, which was 2014,
Grey's
Today's
Anatomy.
episode is brought to you by ThreadUp. Now, if you haven't heard of ThreadUp, you are missing out, my friend. It is an online dollars. I got them.
Drama.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to True Crime with Kendall Ray. I am so happy to have you here today as we discuss yet another case. And if you're new, then welcome. Be sure to hit subscribe. And I guess today is more of a story than a case. This is not going to be your typical true crime video. Honestly, I needed a little bit of a break from true crime. But what I'm going to be talking about today is absolutely wild. It's a story that when I heard it, I knew I wanted to cover it. So every single one of you out there, I'm sure, at one point in your life, you have told a lie. And most of us grow out of the lying as we get older. When I was a kid, I told several big lies. I was quite the storyteller. In first grade, I was being diagnosed with ADHD, and I had to see the school counselor and talk to her during that process. And I came up with a completely different life story because I thought my life was pretty boring. Another friend of mine had a much more interesting life, so I kind of took her life story and I told the counselor that my parents were getting divorced, that my mom picked me up from school with her boyfriend on a motorcycle, that my mom was pregnant. It was all lies.
Oh, yeah.
Come in and explain that it was all made up. And then in third grade, I tried to convince my entire class that I needed glasses, and I started wearing fake Build-A-Bear glasses, which were way too small for my face. And in fifth grade, I tried to tell everyone in my class that I was an actress, and I was going to be starring in a live-action version of Anastasia. And then my teacher found out, and things got very awkward from there. But as a kid, you don't really know better, you know? You grow out of the lying as you get older, or at least most people do. Most people, but it's always fascinating to me when a grown-ass adult will make up a giant lie and commit to it hard, and then convince everyone in their life of this lie, whether that's to gain personal satisfaction, to get sympathy, to further their career, maybe for financial gain. And today we're going to be talking about one of these liars, Elizabeth Finch. She was a writer for Grey's Anatomy, and she would actually weave some of her lies into the storylines for the show. Now, I've covered some frauds and liars over the years. However, this one is different because this person didn't face any legal repercussions for what they did. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if what this person did constitutes any legal action, but I'm curious to hear what you think. Before I continue here, I want to give a trigger warning that this is going to piss a lot of you off. We're going to be talking about cancer. And if any of you out there have battled cancer yourself or love someone who has battled or has lost their battle with cancer, this could be very upsetting to hear, because now I'm going to start telling you about how Elizabeth faked having cancer. So Elizabeth R. Finch was born in 1978 to a middle-class Jewish family in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Her parents, Joan and Robert, had one other child named Eric, and from what I can tell, she had a very, very normal and very loving upbringing. Growing up, Elizabeth was able to go to summer camp, have a bat mitzvah. She even got involved early on in her school's theater department. She attended Cherry Hill East High School, which is where she began writing plays for the theater department, which only encouraged her dream to one day become a writer. After graduating high school, she went on to attend Carnegie Mellon. And while college is often described as some of the best years of your life, this was actually a really challenging time for Elizabeth, and there were some very serious things going on that really impacted her. One of those things being the fact that her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. Elizabeth and her family really had to rally around helping her, and this is a quote from her about the ways that they did that. She said they quickly had to become experts in pharmacology, wig design, hip hospital lingo, and fashioning surreptitious means of throwing up in public places. And I'm using this direct quote for a very important reason, because this quote is Elizabeth herself admitting to her knowledge of the ins and outs of cancer, which becomes very important to note for later on. And just so you guys know, before I move on, her mom did beat cancer, so that's great. But anyway, after graduating from Carnegie Mellon, Elizabeth attended film school at USC. Now, it's unclear whether or not she got any type of degree from USC. It's only been reported that she had a short stint there. But whether or not she graduated, honestly, doesn't really matter. What's important to note is that while she was there, she got the opportunity to be an assistant for Rick Cleveland. And this is an opportunity that would kickstart her career. Rick Cleveland is an American TV writer and playwright, and he's best known for his work on the HBO drama 6 Feet Under, among a handful of other productions. And getting to work as his assistant really got the ball rolling for her own writing career. At some point while she was working for him, Rick's mom was diagnosed with stage 4.
My dog falls asleep, her tongue sticks out. She sticks her tongue out. Ew.
Him. And this was something that set
Makes her
Elizabeth
look like
apart
she's
from the
dead.
rest. She was really helpful when it came to researching information for Rick and knowing how to support him. But it wasn't long after this that Rick introduced
You can't do that. That's
Alan
scary.
Ball, who worked on 6 Feet Under as well as True Blood. And you could say it was a pretty successful introduction
That's
because
scary.
Alan ended up hiring her as a writer's assistant. But unfortunately for everyone, things took a pretty drastic turn 6 weeks later when the Writers Guild of America strike began. And it was during this strike that Elizabeth claims everything changed for her, because rather than sitting around and waiting to get back to work, she wanted to make use of this time. So she picked up a backpack and decided to go hiking. But things did not go as planned. In an article written by Elizabeth in 2014, which you're going to hear me reference quite a bit, Elizabeth explained that her hike was cut short because she got her foot caught in the roots of an oak tree and ended up with a very serious knee injury. This was obviously very painful, and she ended up needing 4 surgeries over 4 years. And by the end of all that, she was left with only 17% of her knee's natural cartilage. I know that at this point, I've made it clear that Elizabeth is a liar. However, this part of her story is true. She really did injure her knee. However, I bring up this incident because it was this event that led to a
I'm just not even paying attention.
that unfolded in the next couple of years. Well, actually, this was in 2007, so there were a couple of years without lies that we know of before Elizabeth really got the ball rolling on all the big lies. So once the writer's strike passed, Elizabeth worked on True Blood from 2008 to 2010, where she eventually moved up from writer's assistant to junior writer. And from there, her career just continued to take off. She worked in a show called No Ordinary Family, and it really didn't take off as a huge hit, but Elizabeth has been credited as writing 2 of its episodes. From there, she got the incredible opportunity to begin working on the CW show The Vampire Diaries, which I'm sure for any writer
Good, I'm
feels
glad.
like a very big accomplishment.
I am
She landed this
glad.
job in 2012 and quickly earned herself the nickname Vampire Girl from having worked on both True Blood and The Vampire Diaries. In 2013, before starting her second season of writing for The Vampire Diaries, Elizabeth claimed that she had to have another knee surgery. However, this one was different from the rest. Instead of waking up to doctors telling her that everything had been fixed, she woke up to bad news. They told her that she had a rare form of bone cancer. According to her 2014 article in Elle magazine, she woke up from surgery
Bacon.
a PET scan revealed that she had stage 3 chondrosarcoma. Not only did she say that she had a tumor encroaching her spinal column, but she also said she had a tumor on her knee that doctors removed during surgery. Now let's talk about chondrosarcoma, because I'm guessing a lot of you haven't heard of it. While this form of cancer is the second most common type of primary bone cancer in adults, it's very rare for someone Elizabeth's age, which at this time was 35. Chondrosarcoma is a type of bone cancer that starts in the cartilage cells, and what makes it so tricky is it's resistant to chemotherapy. Not only that, but because Elizabeth claimed to have a tumor growing on her spinal column, she said it was also extremely risky to undergo surgery because there was a very, very high risk of paralysis. But if there's one thing that you should know about Elizabeth, or something that she wants you to know about her, is that she is super independent. She literally says that as a baby, her first word was myself, which I found to be very interesting.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
So rather than seek the help and support of her friends and family, Elizabeth decided to fight this on her own. And she actually said her mom was with her
That's
at the
good.
hospital when she had that knee surgery, and that when she found out about the cancer and the tumor that they also removed on her knee, that she decided not to tell her mom and instead just tell her that everything went well. But the truth is, no doctor ever told her that she
No
had
glass.
cancer. There was
Let's
no
go make some
tumor on
glass.
her knee or in her spinal column.
Welcome
And not
aboard.
only did she say that she was too independent to seek help from her friends and family in the beginning, but she also said that she defied her doctor's order to take an indefinite leave of work to give chemo her full attention. Instead, she says she powered through and went right back to work. So, according to Elizabeth, she was suffering
People are
from
pieces of
stage 3
shit, man.
chondrosarcoma,
Okay.
going through chemotherapy 3 times a week, and working full time without telling anyone. And this went on for quite some time, according to her. She said that she believed adversity should be met with quiet dignity, which is how she claimed to have handled her diagnosis. And the only lies that she said she told were when people asked her why she was late to work, or why she was only eating saltine crackers, or why she appeared to look sick. But obviously, there was a much bigger plan in place for Elizabeth, and she didn't plan on keeping this lie to herself forever, because why would you come up with such an elaborate lie just to keep it for yourself? So eventually, she decided it was time.
The rules are simple. Keep the perimeter sensors on alarm, no matter how many false positives you get, and do not go out alone. They are hunting us. We don't know why. Someone made a mistake a long time ago, and we have to live with it. The damn thing is, maybe it was one of us. Maybe they see us and say, look, it's that soft criminal, back from the dead again. Let's get the freak. And we don't even remember what we did.
This is literally what I've been doing. Just chilling. Like anytime I'm not gaming, I just either watching something or listening to a podcast. Oh, what you doing? Can you not fart on me, please? I'm just trying to farm here. You gotta be so rude. Ew. Why you gotta be so rude? Oh, I love the movement in this one. It's so nice. Oh, look at that visual bug. It's a good one. Can I? Oh. No, 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 no. Fight it, fight it, fight it. We're so close. Shit, I gotta go back down. But tell me that is... Oh, that's not it. It's not what I need either. It's a crap. I forgot. Can I? It's gonna do nothing to him. Nothing. I think we got everything here. Copper. We scanned that, didn't we? Holy shit. They sound mean. Yeah, they're not too bad.
Time to start telling people. She told people one by one, and that sympathy
I am
that she was craving started flooding in. It started with her agent,
I
and then her
approve.
boss, and then 4
Nothing
months
to
later, she told her
lose.
friends and family. And I figure it was probably the same story every time. She got herself tested for the BRCA gene after her mom battled cancer, found out she tested positive, and things were fine up until she had knee surgery and learned that her doctor found a tumor. And of course, she probably told her harrowing story of battling it alone for months, and I can only imagine the adrenaline rush she felt when her coworkers and loved ones showered her with support and admiration. I'm especially curious how her coworkers felt when they found out in June of 2012, and they found out from their boss because Elizabeth was going to be taking a 6-week leave of absence that month to undergo an intensive drug protocol at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. And according to her, this intensive drug protocol was extra important because if it didn't work, her chances of survival were extremely low. And during the time that she was supposedly undergoing this treatment, a friend of hers who lived in Minnesota was nice enough to let her stay at his apartment while he lived elsewhere for 6 weeks. That's a pretty good friend. And what's really crazy is this friend would actually take her to and from every appointment. However, of course, Elizabeth didn't allow him to go inside with her. And during this time, she was magically keeping up with work while also undergoing this serious treatment at the Mayo Clinic. Here's a quote from Elizabeth about the treatment. I watched the producer's cuts under a fog of Demerol, punched up dialogue about vampire werewolf hybrids with a shunt in my spine. Yes, I was down 17 pounds, bald, vomiting relentlessly, but I was still living alone, still stubborn as hell, still working. Somehow, I still felt like myself.
Drama, 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 drama.
Say the treatment worked, and she wouldn't have to undergo a surgery that could possibly paralyze her, and her chances of survival were now a lot higher. And with that great news, she returned to Los Angeles and claims to have continued treatment there. And in the following weeks, Elizabeth's cancer became harder to hide. She began wearing scarves over her balding head, bandages over her chemotherapy port scars, and made frequent trips to the bathroom to rid herself of chemo-induced nausea. When people would ask her why she wasn't accepting the help of her parents, she explained that they were overbearing and impossible to be around. Again, doubling down on the fact that she was independent and could do this on her own.
INDEENT. You know what I mean?
Eric, who was a doctor down in Florida. And of course, when he wanted to talk to her doctors about her treatment plan, she wouldn't let him. And what I found particularly interesting is that many people who knew Elizabeth during this time said that it was her independence that was most admirable to them. The fact that she was that sick and still maintaining a solid career was very impressive to people, and it continued to appear that way for many, many years. But this story isn't just about Elizabeth faking her own cancer. It's about how she used that lie and many other lies that I'm going to get into here soon to propel her own career forward. So while she was working on the Vampire Diaries, it was no secret to people who knew her that her ultimate dream job was to work for shows like Parenthood or Grey's Anatomy. And as luck would have it, Elizabeth ended up landing her dream job in the writer's room for Grey's Anatomy. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't luck that landed her there at all. It was her 2014 Elle magazine article detailing her journey with a rare and fatal bone cancer and how she battled it alongside maintaining her career. One section reads, "Turns out there's no pamphlet on how to be a single 30-something woman with cancer. Every oncologist I met insisted that I should freeze my eggs before chemo. When I told them that I wasn't going to waste my time protecting the hypothetical children that I'd never had any intention of having, they seemed befuddled. And when I defied Dr. Cryptic's order to take an indefinite leave of absence from work, he thought chemo deserved my sole attention.
Oh my
He doubted my
God.
commitment to getting well."
People are so fucking awful sometimes, I swear.
Elizabeth is a badass. She is brave. She is a rock star. And that's exactly what the development executive producer over at Shondaland thought. And for those of you who don't know, Shondaland is the production company for Shonda Rhimes, who has created many hit shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Private Practice. seen all of those shows, and I was always a huge fan
Same.
of Grey's Anatomy. I started watching it in 4th grade, and I gave up around the 13th season because it was getting a little too dramatic for me, and honestly traumatic, because I got a little sick of having all of the characters I loved die in tragic ways. Grey's Anatomy is definitely the most successful and longest running Shondaland show. I believe it is still on. And I don't know if they have plans of stopping. But anyway, she is a very, very big deal. And so for anyone on her team to take notice of Elizabeth meant a lot. Shonda herself actually met with Elizabeth after she was pitched as a potential hire for season 10 of Grey's Anatomy. And she said that she was impressed with both her article and her tenacity, which, as we know, were both based on lies. And as we know, Elizabeth got the job. But, and this was super interesting to me, a few seasons into working there, she was actually let go. This happened when Krista Vernoff, Grey's Anatomy's showrunner, did a blind writing test and only kept the
Oh,
writers
you
to
slingshot
self-serve
yourself
vision.
so high in
But
the
apparently,
sky,
Elizabeth
average.
didn't share that vision.
What the
But,
fuck?
and this is an even bigger but, she was rehired after someone advocated on her behalf because of her miraculous cancer story and her tenacity for work. Had she not crafted this lie, I'm not sure she would have been rehired. I'm not sure if she would have been hired to begin with, considering it was her Elle article that got her the job in the first place. And this was just the beginning of how she used her lie for her own benefit. Elizabeth was one of 17 people working in the writer's room for Grey's Anatomy and was the only person in that room who identified with having a disability. Even though 2 other writers had been previously diagnosed with cancer, she was the only one who was actively living with it. And because of this, she was given benefits that nobody else had, such as a more comfortable chair, special considerations for deadlines, even more talking rights in the writer's room. There have been people who worked there that said that the writer's room was very chaotic and loud, people talking over each other. But when Elizabeth talked, she was given the floor, and no one would dare interrupt her. People who worked there didn't want to interrupt her or overshadow her because she was sick. And they actually said, and this is a quote, that they were worried about doing that because her words could be her last words. They said that she wore her cancer on her sleeve and that she would frequently tell stories about everything that she's been able to overcome. And what was interesting, and probably not realized until after the fact, is that Elizabeth's bouts of sickness would always seem to coincide with major deadlines. Even though she did get a lot of leeway when it came to deadlines, there were times that she would bring in other writers to help her finish projects. However, only her name would be credited for the work. But honestly, regardless of all of this, her coworkers were happy to help. They felt lucky to know her, to have her in their lives. And it may seem kind of crazy to us, considering we know the truth that she was lying this entire time, but at the time, it doesn't seem like anyone thought twice about it. I mean, people really viewed her as a walking miracle just for living with such a fatal cancer, not to mention working full-time and kicking ass while doing so. She even told people that she was the only one in her clinical trial to survive. So yeah, people were amazed by her, and not just people she knew, but fans across the country. In addition to the article she wrote back in 2014, Elizabeth began writing more pieces for Elle, The Hollywood Reporter, and Shondaland.com, detailing her journey and courage. And not only was this great exposure for the episodes she was writing and producing, but a great way to gain attention and sympathy for her so-called diagnosis. And let me tell you, the lies that she was spinning were dark. At one point, Elizabeth told people that she was pregnant while in active treatment, and she had to make the heart-wrenching decision of whether or not to keep the baby. She
Jeez
said that she had two
Louise.
choices. Either stop the treatment and carry the baby to term, but risk dying herself, or get an abortion. And she claims that she chose abortion. In 2017, Elizabeth said that she desperately needed a double kidney transplant. And she posted on Facebook that after 2 hospital trips and 2 weeks of hell, she finally received 1 healthy kidney from a donor. She even told a coworker that her new kidney came from actress Anna Paquin, who she had met while working on True Blood. Then in 2018, the lies started taking on a life of their own. In March of that year, she hosted this big 40th birthday party for herself, and she had it in a big warehouse and pulled out all the stops, caterer, DJ, you name it. This was a major celebration of not only her birthday, but the remission of her cancer. And during the party, she addressed the crowd and said that 2 of her doctors from the Mayo Clinic were there, but that they didn't want to be identified. And looking back on this, there were several people there who said that many were confused about why these doctors didn't want to be identified. And people were looking around, trying to figure out who they were, and no luck. Probably because they didn't exist. And later that year, Elizabeth came up with her next big lie. After the Tree of Life synagogue massacre in Pittsburgh, she said that not only was a close friend of hers from college killed in that shooting, but that she'd actually flown out to Pittsburgh
Welcome aboard.
herself. And with the permission of the literal FBI, she was able to help clean up her friend's remains. And not even a day after she shared the news that she had lost a friend in the shooting, she was tweeting, "Please do not send me photos of the man who murdered my friend." And that's just disgusting on so many levels. I mean, especially to the people who actually suffered and lost loved ones in that tragedy. It's hard to even wrap your mind around making up a lie like that. But her bullshit doesn't stop there, because why would it? So season 15 of Grey's Anatomy aired in September of 2018, which is actually about a month before the Tree of Life synagogue massacre. Elizabeth, who was one of the writers and producers for that season, was credited as writing the episode Anybody Have a Map, which is season 15, episode 7. I had tuned out of Grey's Anatomy by this point, so I did not see this episode, but here is what I found after looking it up, for those of you who may not have seen it. In the episode, Dr. Korosik, who must have come on in the later seasons, and Dr. Meredith Grey receive a call from Dr. Catherine Avery. Dr. Avery tells them that she has a special patient that needs their attention, and she wants them to fly down to her new medical center to review the patient's case. Well, when they get there, they learn that she, Catherine Avery, is the patient. After a few additional scans, it's revealed that the tumor encroaching her spinal column is chondrosarcoma, and the likelihood of paralysis is extremely high if operated on. It's so serious, in fact, that in this episode, Dr. Korosik says that even he, an expert in the field, has no idea how to remove the tumor without killing or paralyzing her. Sound familiar? And the episode ends with an ominous yet inspiring quote about exceptions to the rule, outliers, miracles, really just insinuating that Dr. Avery, inspired by Elizabeth, is that exception, a person that defied the odds. Here's a little clip of her talking about making that episode.
And the Catherine storyline was very personal to me because I am someone who is living with cancer, and it's something that I've never seen on television, that someone was diagnosed with advanced stage cancer and then goes through quite a bit of hell, but then also gets to go back to their lives and live in a more chronic condition.
And honestly, one of the most ridiculous parts about all of this is that Elizabeth told her coworkers that it was too triggering to write this episode, but when they offered to help her or write it for her, she said, no. This is my story. It should come from me. And as a side note, whenever it came
What
to
a
about
jerk.
cancer, as it often did, being a hospital show like Grey's Anatomy, Elizabeth owned that territory and no one else felt like they could give their input. Like I said before, 2 other people that worked there had survived cancer.
Hi,
but
Bulma.
because
How
she
you
was the only
doing?
one actively living with it, she was the one dominating conversations about how to use it in a storyline. Elizabeth even used her cancer story to enter a competition for female writers who were trying to bring change to the
Hey.
world. How much shittier can she even get?
That is one big pile of shit.
Well, the answer is much shittier. Elizabeth would use Twitter for sympathy on many occasions, including when she tweeted at Delta Airlines saying they forced her, a cancer patient, to check her bag and then proceeded to
What do
loot
you
her
mean?
luggage
For
with all
attention?
medication inside. There was also a tweet that read, "I've officially run out of ways to politely say this. Stop tweeting me miracle cancer cures. It's no longer well-meaning. It's exhausting and insulting and presumptuous AF." And obviously when she would tweet things like this, she would get a ton of support and she was eating it up. And she also wasn't done using her personal experiences to drive storylines for Grey's Anatomy. In another episode from season 15 called Silent All These Years, Elizabeth came up with the idea for Dr. Joe Wilson to learn that she was the product of rape. The entire episode, which has been highly recognized for its incredible impact on viewers, follows Jo, finding out that her birth mother was sexually assaulted and that assault resulted in her birth. Also in this episode, you see the impact Jo makes on a woman who comes into the Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital after she had been raped. Now, I'm not going to spell out the entire episode, but I do recommend you watch it for many reasons.
I've
One being that I
seen
think it's
it.
an incredibly powerful story about bleeding
Not
women who have
watching it
experienced rape.
again.
Also because Elizabeth
I gotta pee,
makes
I'll be right
a
back.
feature at the end of the episode. She doesn't have any lines or anything, but she was one of the nurses in the ending scene, which I'm sure was a way for production to thank her for her contribution to the show. Here's a clip of her talking about that episode.
Well, speaking of great work, Elizabeth, one episode that you wrote this season just really hit fans in the heart, and it was called Silent All These Years. It was the one that dealt with the rape kits and the sexual assault aftermath. Can you talk a little bit about the creative process behind such a powerful episode?
Well, 3 years ago, I went through what they called a story tour that was through the Writers Guild that they offered, and a small group of us went to tour through the Rape Treatment Center in Santa Monica, UCLA, which is what is looked at as the gold standard, both nationally, I think internationally as well, for how they treat victims of sexual assault. And I went thinking at some point I might come up with an idea for it, and there were a couple of moments that stuck in my brain that I couldn't shake and let go. And when Krista started working here, we started working around the same time as the Kavanaugh hearing started to be put everywhere, and the idea of wanting to talk about consent and have those conversations about as dynamic as possible, those conversations about how long lasting it could be, what the impact is, how we take care of people who are survivors, how we listen to survivors. And it just seemed like the perfect time to put it all together.
Now, as for how this relates to her life, Elizabeth told her fellow writers that Jo's story was actually modeled after the story of a close friend of hers. And during the process of writing this episode, Elizabeth frequently found herself too triggered to write and would often have to have other writers step in to help her. Yet once again, her name was the only one credited. Many writers apparently suggested that Jo's character in future episodes should go to a mental health facility to help her work through her trauma. And just take a guess as to who you think then checked herself into treatment. That's right, Elizabeth. But here is what is insane. She checked herself into treatment under the name Jo, as in the character in Grey's Anatomy. She told her bosses at work that she was experiencing PTSD due to the Tree of Life Synagogue massacre and that she needed mental health treatment, and they let her go. And it only gets wilder from here. In January of 2019, while in treatment in Arizona, Elizabeth, who was posing as a woman named Jo, met another woman in treatment for PTSD named Jennifer. I don't want to completely go over all of Jennifer's trauma because it is her story and it's a true story, and it's not fair to her or her kids to have all that on full display, but I will tell you the parts that relate to how Elizabeth exploited her. Jennifer was at this facility after her 18-year marriage came to an end. Her ex-husband abused her badly, and she was suffering PTSD as a result. And about 6 months into treatment, Jennifer was introduced to Jo, aka Elizabeth, and the two of them hit it off right away. And it was actually Elizabeth who helped pull Jennifer out of a very dark place. People who worked there said that it was the first time that they really saw Jennifer smile and laugh, and that they were very happy that these two women were helping each other. The two of them even became roommates inside the facility, and over time, Elizabeth started to remember details about her childhood that she had forgotten, including that her brother, Eric, who I've mentioned, he's the doctor in Florida, abused her. And what's really interesting about this abuse that she claims to have experienced is it's very similar to the abuse that Jennifer had experienced from her ex-husband. So as the weeks and months went on, Elizabeth and Jennifer became closer and closer. And at this point, Jennifer is still under the impression that this woman she is becoming close with is named Jo. And Elizabeth has no intention of telling her her real name. And not just that, but interestingly enough, she also never mentioned to Jennifer that she had cancer. But Elizabeth knew that she couldn't keep this up for much longer because eventually her family was going to come visit her, and the truth about her name was going to get out. So Elizabeth decides that she is going to tell Jennifer, but she comes up with this story that the reason she's been going by Joe is because she is a high-profile writer and she doesn't want it to get out to the public that she's in a mental health facility. So then she has to convince her parents to call her Joe while she's
Okay,
there,
back.
because the rest of the facility thinks that her name is Joe as well, and they buy it. But what was weird to Jennifer is when she talked to Elizabeth's family, they seemed shocked to hear that Elizabeth was saying that she was abused by her brother Eric. And then Jennifer, on the other hand, was shocked when she found out from Elizabeth's mother that Elizabeth had cancer. So obviously Jennifer confronts her about this, and Elizabeth tells her that, yes, I have cancer. However, I didn't want to talk about it. Probably because Jennifer is a nurse and would see right through her lies. But anyway, by July of 2019, Elizabeth is ready to leave treatment and return to LA. But Jennifer was still struggling, especially because her abusive ex-husband had custody of her 5 children. So, being the generous person that she is, Elizabeth invites Jennifer to come stay with her in LA, and the two of them end up falling in love. During early parts of their relationship, Elizabeth flew to Kansas, where Jennifer lived, to be there for her court dates to get custody of her kids. She did this a few times, but one of the times was different because right before the hearing, they found out that Jennifer's ex-husband had committed suicide. And I only bring this up because it's an extremely intimate and important part of Jennifer's story that Elizabeth completely ripped off and used as her own. While in Kansas, Elizabeth wrote a letter to her fellow writers at Grey's Anatomy. Hey all, I've been absent and coming back tomorrow. I just don't know who's looped into what, and I'd rather put it out there so no one is in the dark or feeling eggshelly. I've gone because my brother died by suicide. He was on life support for a short while, but ultimately did not survive. I say this not because I need or want anything from
Who is this weirdo?
Or whatever. I just
It's
want people to know I'm
crazy.
still here, still part of the team. I intended to just power through my episode shoot, but I recognized I needed to just take a bit of time away to process. Missed y'all. And to be clear, Elizabeth's brother Eric was completely fine. He was alive and well, living in Florida as a doctor. But of course, that didn't stop Elizabeth from stealing Jennifer's trauma and trying to use it as her own. And this is crazy, but she even later said that because he was a doctor, he knew exactly where to shoot himself so that he wouldn't die, which would force her to be the one to pull the plug on him, which is what she said was his final act of vindictiveness. Now, you might be wondering, what did Elizabeth tell Jennifer about her brother? Because clearly she can't pawn off Jennifer's own story to Jennifer herself, so she made up something different. She told her that Eric was a highly dangerous person who had been threatening her and that he lived in the Philippines. And then to ease Jennifer's fears of him hurting them, she told her that he wasn't allowed to legally return to the United States without her being notified first. And it was all a load of bullshit. And I can't really blame people for believing her. I mean, she was highly convincing. So much so that she convinced Jennifer to marry her, all the while not knowing that she was completely exploiting her story and pawning it off as her own back at work. She proposed to her on Thanksgiving 2019, and they eventually got married in February of
So
2020.
sad.
But thankfully, the cracks in Elizabeth's lies started to show. Around Christmas time in 2019, one of Jennifer's children was cast in the Nutcracker, and this was a really big deal. So she threw this big party. But during the party, Elizabeth said she was experiencing...
I have a special request, investigator. I can't call it personal because I'm not a person, but it could really, you know. One of my kin is still alive. I've detected low-frequency code from an active NOAA node. It's housed in a deep facility it calls the Tadpole Pens. You may want a tadpole of your own to get down there. Maybe it can tell us what became of the colony and how to avoid the same fate. Signal location